Jess, when did you first join?
First joined in 2015.
Oh, okay.
And I was with Josh at the time too. Haha.
That's right.
And Jess, how did you
Training's
start
still
on?
ongoing.
Yeah.
Always still.
Jess,
Yeah.
how did you start on Nautilus?
I started as an intern out here, and I loved it. So
And you're still here, and now what are you doing?
and now I'm sitting Herc for as long as Josh will allow me.
The Herc pilot.
So don't crash, Jess, is what I tell myself the whole time.
Well, of course, we gave her a really difficult task to start out, which is Herc being really heavy, which is very difficult to fly. So, but she's doing really well, managing our distance off bottom and keeping some good views of the seafloor without getting too dusty. But as soon as we drop these microba experiments, I think things will get a lot easier for us.
Isn't Jess our first female Herc pilot?
No.
No?
Nope.
All right.
She's our favorite.
Not special then.
Absolutely
Not
favorite
special
one.
then.
Not the
Never
first.
mind.
No.
We don't know who else is listening out there, you know? No favorites.
No, Jess is doing awesome, really
She is.
taking advantage of this opportunity to get some training in and keep her skills advancing, and she's doing really awesome.
Cool, thanks guys. Make you all teary up here.
I know.
Now. I'll be able to see the screen. Also, I'm going to come down a little bit. to see.
Yeah, back to work.
Back to work, yeah. No sentimental stuff.
So that means, where I was going with all of this, I thought maybe Jess had been out here a little bit longer. Miles is the only person that's been out here maybe almost as long as me.
How long have you been out here, Nicole?
Since we were in the med.
Oh, what year was that?
I think 2011 was my first year. Yeah, 2011.
And Miles, when did you come on? Oh.
My first year was 2014.
Nope, still you, Nicole.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It may have even been 2010. I just try not to, you know.
I got a year on Miles.
Oh,
That was
okay.
2013.
There we go.
And I missed a year. I did not sail in 2016.
All right.
Jess, do you mind if I punch in just past the little corner things?
Here, how
Just
about...
shade from the...
Yeah, go ahead a little bit, yeah. It's all right.
There we go.
So it's 2014, Miles. Was that when you were as one of the science group or part of the Nautilus?
Both.
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 I remember we wanted...
I think I might have been on for that maybe, but I can't remember.
We decided it was a good opportunity to train a new navigator, and it's really worked out, so...
Yeah. Oh yeah, was that corals?
I was.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
now I remember.
But I got on in Key
Gulfport.
West to dive on the U-boat.
Okay.
So I neglected to mention when talking about the history of Nautilus, neglected to mention the name. So the former name of Nautilus was actually the Alexander von Humboldt when it was an East German research vessel. So thank you to Odessa, who's 8 years old, who's watching, for pointing that out. Oh, and we also have a longtime viewer, Gustafer, who designed our 2016
Gustafer.
expedition patch.
Yes.
Awesome. Welcome back,
Oh.
Gustafer. Gustafer's 10 now, and he's
Wow.
wondering how long it takes to learn to drive the ROV, and how old do you have to be to learn how to use it? I think we have a future ROV pilot here.
Yeah, hey Gustafer, I remember your patch and all the work that you did. It was awesome.
Yeah, how's the ship doing?
How old do you have to be? I don't know. Jess, how old are you?
Probably have to drive a car first.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, it's kind of more about your technical knowledge, I think, is a good place to start. So probably going through some school. Sorry, stand by.
Cool, thanks, Sam.
Yeah, so kind of getting a knowledge base around how things work with either kind of robotics or engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, kind of gaining some technical knowledge there. So that's probably into, university kind of age where you might start to understand some of these things. But there's a lot of programs in high school, like the MATE program, where you can start to learn about these things and build vehicles and get into it. So, you can really start anytime, kind of your knowledge base is so much information out there now. about these types of tools that we can use underwater. So I don't know. I don't know if there's really an age limit or like a point where you can start, but probably anytime. I mean, 10 years old, why not? start learning stuff and find those opportunities to get out here.
That's great. And easier question, Josh, is how long does it take to learn how to drive Hercules once you're on board?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say. Like the way that the Nautilus operates in a season type of cycle, you know, and we try and it's a training vessel, so we're trying to get lots of people out here to get exposure to these types of tools. It can take a little longer in the sense that you know, you're only getting a few months or weeks at a time to sort of advance your skills. So I mean, Jess has been coming out a fair amount since I think she said 2015, and she's been slowly getting, you know, short opportunities to get into the seat and to try and advance her skills. And not just piloting, there's a lot more than just driving it around. There's the situational awareness of everything that's going on, and keeping the vehicle safe is kind of our primary role.
What's the youngest you people are if they're interns?
It's typically 18.
18.
Yep.
Yeah.
So in the past we did have a high school program, which is currently on hold, but currently 18. So it's undergraduates, community college students, graduate students, or recent graduates are eligible for our science and engineering internship program. So if you're watching at home and curious how to get out here, check out our education tab on the Nautilus Live website. We have 4 internship tracks for video engineering, seafloor mapping, ocean science, and ROV engineering. And I'm actually sitting next to one of our video engineers, interns from last year. Sarah, how did you find out about the program?
Ooh. I found out about it through word of mouth, actually, through another video engineer. And yeah, last year was my internship. We were in Papahanaumokuakea Marine National Monument, and that was amazing. And I was on the boat for all of 24 hours, and I was already like, when can I come back for next year or forever? and now I'm back, and I'm really happy.
Awesome. We're happy to have you back. And I think you actually had a couple of pretty exciting moments last year being in the video engineering seat, right?
Yeah, we saw a lot of awesome stuff in the Marine National Monument there. There was amazing coral landscapes, and we had the 360 camera that we brought down there, and we saw the gulper eel there, and we saw all sorts of, I don't know, squat lobsters and sea cucumbers, and we were just doing so many interesting looks into all the different biodiversity down there.
Were you in the seat for the gulper eel?
I was.
What was that like?
My face became like 2 inches close to the screen, which didn't really help, but I was like sucked in.
Yeah.
It was
just like the gulper eel was hoping that the ROV would be, right?
Yeah, right.
Defense pose, yeah.
It almost got me.
Yeah. We also have a navigation intern in the nav seat, Alex.
Bridge nav.
Oh, who's busy right now?
We lose sight of the bottom a little bit, guys.
Can I get 10
Yeah,
meters
we're trying to come down right now.
bearing 220?
So yeah, you're like 20 meters up, right?
Yeah.
And you're going right under me, which makes it hard.
Sorry, I'll lead you around better. Sorry about that.
I can see in the down count.
Yeah.
Something that someone said once, though, and people always ask, like, what's the coolest things you've seen and everything. I think Ed or someone said that it's always the thing that you're going to see next. And that's so true, because even when we're looking at blue water or, you know, anything, and it's not, you know, there's not a bunch of fish or something that people might automatically think is exciting. It's still cool because you never know what you're going to see.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. So right now, if you're watching on Nautilus Live, you can actually, it's a good time to check out our different channels. So channel 1 is our Hercules feed. So that's our main eyes and arms in the sea. So when we're collecting samples or zooming in on something, that's the best camera for you. Channel 1 is our Argus view, so Argus floats above Hercules, in between Hercules and Nautilus.
2 berms on the bottom screen there.
2 birds in the bottom screen? What? Channel 2, yep.
All right.
Nice.
Yep.
And those coincide with the ones we went over before, I think. Possibly, although those say isolated. Alex, we might drop an additional target that just says 2 berm clumps.
2 berm clumps, right?
Right where
I see.
Herc is, yeah. It's the incredible thing about ROVs, you could miss something by just a little bit because it has a very narrow field of view.
So they're about the same right now.
Sorry? Yeah,
I should use.
I'm going to come down as well.
Okay.
Just about 2 meters.
So wrapping up Nautilus Live, channel 3 is our quad channel actually. So that shows you both channel 1 and 2 with Hercules and Argus, and then a little shot into our control van at the moment. So you can see all of us. Right now it's focused on the front row where our ROV pilots are. So Jess in the Hercules chair, Josh in Argus, and Alex on navigation, with Miles doing a little bit of training as well and supervising. And there's also a map of our location. So channel 1, 2, and quad. Oh, and Sarah's taking us on a tour of the van right now if you're in the quad channel.
Say hi, back row.
Hello.
That's our science row. Data, the far back, and then the science seats up closer to the camera. Got their own monitors back there to see. Videos up in the front and science communications.
And Wayne. Extra video.
And then there's a nav to the right, Herc in the middle, Argus on the left.
This looks like the biggest.
This
This
might
is big.
be
Yeah.
might be an area where we end up deploying the.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. Can we do a zoom here?
Yeah,
And see
for
if we
sure.
can see some diffuse flow once Jess is
There's a
done.
lot of video.
It's like
Yeah,
really
That's a
go ahead and
great
push it
view
a bit
from
through.
Argus too.
totally.
Yeah, ready? It's like a furry
Yeah.
seafloor.
It's like a 2 berm chia pet.
Yeah.
2 worm chia pet. Nice.
Nice.
Bring back.
It's hard to say. Do you
Is
see diffuse flow?
Let's just wait for the decision.
Okay.
And then if they do, yeah, we want to step back because I'm right over top. Herc.
Mhm.
And so if we're going to want to work here, we want to kind of just step
Yeah,
back a little bit.
let me read ahead a little bit, Josh, and
Yeah.
just see. I think I'd want Amy
Like
to
maybe
also
like
sanction
5
wherever
meters.
we put these.
Yeah, for sure.
Or
I'm
Sarah.
just holding off Alex on stepping us back to you guys. Make sure that you're ready.
Video, you want to come in a bit more there?
Sure.
See what who's home?
Who's home?
Yeah, there's one.
Knock, knock.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Full zoom right now.
Mm-hmm.
Roger. The nice thing is we can just let them drift and
It does note that we want to make sure we're in an area where we see active venting. So this might not be the best, but maybe right around this. This should indicate that there is some flow. The 2 berms might be impeding our
Sure.
ability to see it.
sure thing. You want to come wide there, video?
And
Sure.
they're live, which is good. That's a
Should I
good
set
sign.
another marker here?
Sure, you could
That's
say 2 berm clump 2
Big clump?
or
Mega
yeah.
clump?
field of 2 berms.
We had a little temperature spike a couple minutes ago, so there
Oh.
must be some fluid around here.
Wow, it's huge.
Just keeps going. Nicole, you want me to drop down around this thing and see if we can see any fluid
It
flow?
would definitely be helpful, and here comes Amy. I'm sure she was watching. And Sarah, maybe? Yes. It is. So this is a little bit further south from, like we were just coming back into the vent field area, and we saw the isolated ones, the two-worm clump, and then this is like a huge
Ship's
patch
also
of them.
drifting back now.
But we haven't, yeah.
5 meter move.
Yeah.
Sounds good. 5 meters at 045. Oh, the other way. Yeah. Got it. Bridge nav. Gonna get 5 meters at bearing 270. Gotcha. Yeah. Right now he's trying to get Argus to keep moving.
It's so concentrated.
Yeah, it's certainly an impressive.
See, on
grouping
Argus
here.
view, it's like a one big patch, but
Wow.
it doesn't like seem to go super far branched out.
So this morning we were starting to read a paper about the 2 different morphologies of the Regia tube worms, and it turns out that the thinner, so there's 2 morphologies that were originally described. They thought there were different species. Turns out same species, different morphologies, and the long skinny morphology, that's the official term, which we're seeing is apparently usually found in lower temperature vent environments with lower fluid flow. And then there's a short fat morphology that is typically found in higher temperature, higher fluid flow environments. So apparently it's actually, so far what's been observed is that it can be an indicator of what's going on with the venting based on these 2 different types of morphologies.
All right, I'm going to get out of this for a second.
And so far, this is the only species of tube worm that has been observed along the sort of this ridge area from the Juan de Fuca Ridge all the way down to the Gorda Ridge.
30.
So Nicole, what would what's your call? Do you want us to keep looking around at these worms or make our way?
I'm curious what Amy and Sarah think. You know, our plan says to keep moving along. If you guys think this is an area, you might want to deploy them, though I know we're looking for an area, so.
We would have to check out the temperatures.
Right.
Yeah.
I think, you know, we saw a small temperature spike. Megan noted it when we came into this area, but it seems to have leveled out.
Okay.
Hey, Mouse, can you bring up the little temperature loggy thing on the sonar?
Staying at that, like, what, elevated by maybe 1/4 of a degree this time?
Yeah, we had like a little spike about 8 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And then it's gone up like a tiny bit, but
Yeah.
that's just from the CTD. So if you want to get something more accurate, we could try to get a temp probe in there.
Otherwise, what the plan would have us do is to
Thank you.
continue on towards the center of the field, back towards the chimneys. So, don't know, Amy and Sarah, if you guys
Yeah, we
have
want to
a-
find a site of active diffuse flow
Okay,
and
so-
check the temperature.
Yeah, let's continue then on towards our trajectory southwest.
Towards VM1.
Correct.
Got it.
All right.
About 225. 210.
You can.
About 220. 230. Get 20 meters. Bridge nav. I get 20 meters at bearing 230.
Nicole, we've got a couple questions coming in about whether we're planning on sampling any macrofauna or if we're just setting down these microbial colonization experiments.
Yeah, this cruise is focused on the microbes themselves, so no plan to sample any of the tube worms or other macrofauna that we see.
Thanks. Wow, that is a massive cluster.
Wow.
You wonder how many sort of discrete colonies that is.
If only we could do a guess like the candy corn jar. How many tube worms are in
Who's going to count them to see who's closest?
Well, if any viewers at home want to take a stab, we can't give you a number, but it'd be a fun exercise. Of course, there are ways to extrapolate kind of guesses, but candy corn idea sounds more fun.
Good. I'll follow you.
Oh, awesome. Well, we have one of the classrooms that just talked to John and Ashley down in a ship-to-shore interaction. They're now joining us on the live stream. So welcome back. We're just now in the middle of our first dive of the subsea expedition, exploring the Sea Cliff hydrothermal vent system on Gorda Ridge. So we're off the coast of Northern California, right along the California-Oregon border, offshore, and currently looking for, or currently surveying the extent of this hydrothermal vent site, and then we'll be placing some microbial colonization experiments soon. And this dive runs until about 9 p.m. Pacific tonight, with seafloor time wrapping up about 2 or 3 hours before, since it takes us a couple hours to get back up to the surface from this depth. 8. Wrapping up around 8 from the seafloor.
Alex, can you measure how far from VM2 we've come?
VM2.
Lots of little bushes here.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
There's got to be some flow around those mats, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
To Herc?
Yes.
From VM2 to Herc, it is about 75 meters.
Excellent. Okay. We're expecting the center venting to be around 100 meters, so. Do we have time for a zoom on this white patch with the right in the center of the screen right now?
Yeah, we can drop down real quick.
Is that a cuskeel in the back there?
Oh, that's nice lighting.
All right, video. All right, video, go ahead and come in a little bit.
Okay. Oh yeah, bottom right. Yeah. Definitely some diffuse flow. Yeah, let's drop a marker here that says diffuse flow. Yeah. This might be a really good area, huh?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's
What
gorgeous.
is that stuff?
Wow.
What stuff?
All of the orangey yellow.
Oh.
It looks so wet. So weird to say.
Say that's a constant.
Is there some
Expected.
blue mat in there?
Yeah,
Yeah,
try
to the left
yeah,
of the lasers
definitely.
there.
I wonder if it's blue ciliate matte.
Yeah.
Not
Can we
sure.
make
It kind
a
of looks
mark?
like it. Yeah, sure. I would think they would be larger patches, but I'm not sure. So, Alex, when you mark this as diffuse flow, if you could put in the description
You wanna come
possible
wide there, video,
blue
Okay.
matte.
please? Thank you.
Possible blue matte.
Yes.
Looks
Wow.
like there's a bunch of that
Yeah.
white sedimentation stuff.
Yeah, if you have time to take a look at another one, please do. Otherwise, we've got it marked.
Okay, let me get a little bit further along, and we can probably look at the one that's to the right of the
Perfect.
screen here. See if we have enough tether in time.
Yeah, Argus is still a little bit on the move away from this spot, but
So we got a viewer right in with a guess for that original tube worm colony. 12,500 tube worms.
That sounds right. We'll get someone on that
Yeah.
counting right after this dive and get back to you.
Sure.
You know what? I bet there's a graduate student out there who has a project like how many tube worms are in these colonies or could have.
All right, video, you're gonna do a really quick zoom there.
Yeah.
I'll come down a little bit.
Okay.
We good?
Hold that one sec.
There's a temperature
go
spike
ahead.
for sure here.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, hold that.
Ooh,
Wow.
Nice. It's fantastic.
gorgeous.
Whoa, so cool.
Serious shimmer.
See little gastropods in there. I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
And anemones.
All right, guys, you guys satisfied with those looks?
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, video, go ahead and come wide.
All right.
Thank you.
So I think we'll continue on our way and still towards the center of the vent field where we hope to just mark that with VM3. But we'll keep this as a possibility for the deployment later on. Yeah, for sure.
All right, I'll make my way to 220 again. It's a really nice colony there.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big one.
It's a big worms.
Should I hold here or head west a little more?
Let's see what Nicole wants. Nicole, what's the?
Yeah, we're looking for the center of the chimneys again, so it seems like we're getting further, a little bit further from that. Maybe we want to move to the west, or at least have Herc do a little bit of a movement towards the ship, which I think you're working on right now.
So over towards chimney 2 there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just lateraling right now. So that should take us closer. Josh, I'm giving you a tug.
Okay, sorry.
Do you mind coming down a bit?
Yep.
Alex, you could drop a marker here that says 2 berms
Okay.
as well, just so we know we're still.
Okay. Go ahead and go back down.
Roger, following you down.
So Nicole, I had to step out for a few minutes to talk to Central Middle School in Victoria, BC. I was just wondering what's been happening in the last half an hour.
Oh, did you miss some excitement?
Oh no, no.
But we will surely see it again.
Okay.
We're gonna, stick around this area for a bit. Yeah, we found the furthest extent to the northeast of 2 berms.
Up to Chimney 2, yeah.
And then we started to make our way back towards the center of the chimney field, but we came across some really large fields of 2 berms.
Oh, wonderful.
Good diffuse flow areas.
Yeah, I see somebody on Nautilus Live counted them. There's approximately 12,500 tube worms.
Yeah, we're gonna put a grad student or someone on it right away to get a final count.
So we haven't just got Central Middle School in BC, Victoria, watching us right now. We've got a shout out from Malone School second graders in Malone, Florida are watching us right now as well. So hi to you guys.
Hello.
Bridge nav. Gonna get a bearing change to 315.
Alex, did you just, sorry, did you just call in 315?
Yes.
Perfect. That's exactly what we want to do. If you want to take a slight peek out ahead, waypoint 5, so between where we are now and waypoint 5 is actually, which is to the northwest, where we expect to find that center of the vent field. And so I presume that we've kind of already gone over it with how we dropped our first marker and then chimney 2.
Josh?
Yep.
But we'll take a look in that region and note where we find the most concentration of chimneys and focused flow.
Great. And so as we're moving down slope, Nicole, you want me to turn and face the wall, or the seafloor that's approaching us, or?
If you're able to, occasionally it would be helpful. The direction we were given is that approximately 100 meters from our virtual marker 2 on the heading that we've been, or bearing we've been taking, we should come across the center of the vent field again.
Okay.
And then if we haven't found it, it's somewhere between this waypoint 4 on the map and the waypoint 5 that they've given us to the northwest.
All right.
So we know we've seen chimneys around here, but it would be good for us to be able to find what we think is the center of the activity.
Okay, sounds good.
So I'm on the shallow side of you right now.
Roger.
You can look in your app cam there. You can see how close the seafloor is to the back.
Oh yeah, nice.
I mean, their exact directions actually tell us to just drop a virtual marker 3 at the 100 meter mark from, sort of diagonal from virtual marker 2. So Alex, I don't know if you could give us a quick measurement.
From V2 to V3?
From where we were at V2, which is northeast, right?
Mm-hmm.
To where we are now. There you go.
I think the heading that we want is 320.
Okay, we want to keep moving the ship deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually we've
About 120 meters.
Yeah, 120 meters. What do we see around us right now? Not much.
There's a little bit behind.
Down below, like we're just...
like if you look in Argus, just to the left of Herc, there's a little bit of white.
Okay, let's hold off on a ship move and just...
And right behind. If you spin around, you'll probably see some. Try and come down, but I'm getting below 20 meters altitude. And
I think we need another...
Yeah, we want to get Argus deeper. Do you want me to help you with that? So west, right? West is deeper?
5 meters.
Let's go 10.
10 meters?
Yeah.
Bridge nav. You get 10 meters at bearing 270.
So for those of you perhaps joining us on nautiluslive.org, we've had a pretty successful first dive that's continuing at the moment. This is our first dive of the subsea expedition with NASA, NOAA, Woods Hole, and Ocean Exploration Trust support. The aim of this first dive was really to locate the sea cliff hydrothermal vent sites that had been previously studied as long ago as about 13 years ago was the last scientific visit to this location. So this morning our job was to relocate those hydrothermal vents to try and map their extent. And that's really going to set the scene for the rest of this dive and the other dives we have planned on this cruise that is going to be exploring the geochemistry and the microbiology of some of these sites. But everyone's pretty relieved to be sort of in the water and exploring this site because...
So, Nav, I'm sorry to interrupt. When we have a moment, I think the area we want to mark with this VM3 is somewhere between here and waypoint 5, so that's the direction we want to go. So we are on our way.
So start making our way over to waypoint 5?
Yeah, let's do a small move in that general orientation.
Okay.
So we're all pretty excited because when you return to a site that's potentially, dynamic in time, there are changes in these hydrothermal vent systems with time, that to find it and see that we've got some great scientific sites waiting for us, that's...
Bridge nav.
What's the contour spacing?
You get 20 meters at bearing 300.
So that's a downhill move, right? So Nicole, we're going to be a little challenged with our visuals a little bit.
Actually, the guidance says that is fine. So let's just do the move down slope.
Okay. I think I see some tube worms up on Herc's camera off to the left there a little bit.
Yeah, there are. There's a little clump. We expect that we're again passing over the center of the vent site as we transit down slope. It's okay that we don't see it necessarily.
Okay. So we can lose visual contact with the seafloor then?
Even if you kind of angle it, like the kind of angle you're on now, and you can kind of like slide down, a little bit of 45 kind of thing.
Roger.
So for those of you watching on Nautilus Live, we're currently about 2.7 kilometers under the ocean. We are exploring really the steep sides of a...
Ground fault? Is that...
It's okay.
That was just from the camera that you turned on?
I was checking it again.
Of a submarine rift valley. we're currently sort of working our way along and up and down the steep edges of that valley. This is where the Seacliff hydrothermal vent site is located. If you could kind of zoom out from that, you would see that this rift valley has a center. That's the spreading center where the two tectonic plates, the Pacific and the Gorda plates, are pulling apart. That's really what's ultimately responsible for the hydrothermal activity in this area. If you then zoomed out further from that, you would see that where the Nautilus is above the Gorda Ridge is about 300 kilometers off the coast of North America, just pretty much where
like they want to go towards that waypoint 5 there.
Where California
that's correct.
meets Oregon. This is actually our first dive of this subsea cruise. And as I said before, it's been a pretty successful morning so far. We've located the hydrothermal vent fields, and we're now just spending a little bit of time making sure we carefully map the extent, because over the next week or more of diving each day, this is going to be our scientific playground, if you like.
That's 300, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I know some of you on Nautilus Live follow us when we do marine archaeology dives or looking at human structures on the seafloor. This is not what we're actually doing here. We're exploring this hydrothermal vent field and the geochemical and biological activity that it supports, trying to understand it a little bit better.
Alex, can I ask you to do a measurement for me, please?
Mm-hmm.
Can you measure from somewhere between VM1 and Chimney 2, like maybe partway between those two? Go halfway between the two? Oh, no, and then you're going to measure from a point halfway between the two, 100 meters in the direction of waypoint 5. Yeah. That's where they want us to drop virtual marker 3. All right, so it's a little bit past. Just by a little bit. So let's, just get the ship out there somewhere, and then we'll drop the marker.
Sounds good.
So one of the things the dive plan did note is that we wanted to mark the center of the active chimney field. And from everything we've seen so far, my best guess is that it's somewhere between our VM1 and Chimney 2. So rather than mark something down now, I've noted it on our paper dive plan here, and we'll keep that in mind when we go back.
Bridge nav. Yeah, one more step, please.
Sarah, what screens do we have going home? Anything, or is it Argus 1, Argus 2, or Herc 1, Argus, and the van still? Yeah, that's right.
So Sarah, how's your watch going?
It's going swell. Just swell.
What are some of the things you look out for as video engineer?
I am responsible for keeping the quad view and all the feeds up online, making sure like what's showing makes sense and is constructive for everybody to see. And I also control the cameras, so the zoom and the aperture, so making sure that everything's exposed properly, and then the focus as well.
Hold off a little bit.
And that's for people to see online, but also
Should I hold up? Wait for
the
you guys
main
to move up.
eyes for the ROV pilots,
You guys are pretty far back right now.
so that they can see where we are and what we're doing.
Check. Pull another step.
Nicole, you want to be closer to waypoint 5, that's correct, yes?
Yes, if we could get the vehicles over that way. So yeah, one more step maybe.
Yeah, so another westerly move.
Bridge nav. Can I get 20 meters at bearing 270?
Sorry, we might want one more as well once this all settles out, in order to get Argus a little bit further back that way. Yeah. We'll see how we settle out. Dusty. Edges.
Downhill.
Yeah.
You can always just fly forward and get out of it, like get over it like there or whatever.
Yeah. Pretend we don't see it.
Yeah, exactly. Never mind.
Doop doo.
So just talking about the video there, one of the new things that Nautilus is trying to roll out this year is that full dives will be available on YouTube after we dive. I'm not quite sure what the delay time is between each dive and getting them out there, but if you check our YouTube channel, you will be able to actually go through and enjoy every minute of every dive all over again. Find your favorite moments. You laugh, but some people do this. We have
no laughter.
We
no
have
laughter
we have
here.
hardcore fans,
and we love that. It's the hidden gems, you know. They just pop out of nowhere. These fields of tube worms and everything. Just it's exploration at its core.
The true fans are the people who watch mapping.
Yep. Yep.
So you can step towards, you can keep going towards the ship because you're right under me again.
Yeah. I'm lateraling right now. Going down a little bit in the water too.
Yep.
So Miles, when you mentioned that little piece just there, it reminded me of a question we often get on Nautilus Live, which is, how do you guys actually know where the ROVs are underwater relative to the ship?
We have a system called Ultra Short Baseline. It's an acoustic range and bearing system that we use to keep track of the vehicles. We recently upgraded that system to an electrical trigger, so our interrogation rate has been halved over early last year. And that basically means that the vehicles are now shouting at us, and we're timing that signal across a very short baseline and triangulating and ranging out to where that sound came from.
Okay. How often do you get a ping?
At this depth, we're getting it's nominally 3 seconds.
Okay.
That translates to 6 seconds for each vehicle update. So it's 3 seconds for one vehicle, 3 seconds for the other.
Right.
Yeah, so once we get Hercules out 100 meters from our point between VM1 and Chimney 2, we'll just drop a marker and then turn about and go upslope with visual contact towards the center of the vent field again. Yeah, so Alex, if you want to measure once again between, like halfway between those two markers. Yeah. And then out to where Hercules is. We're still a little shy of that.
VM1 and Chimney 2, or yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can measure a little bit further east from where you are. I just...
Okay.
Basically, we're marking the westernmost boundary of our mapping, and I am comfortable saying that we should...
Yeah, that looks like a good spot to start.
From here?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then 100 meters out towards waypoint 5?
Yep, and into where Herc is.
To where
now.
we are.
Yep.
So we're like 90 now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it says 100, right?
All right, yeah, we'll keep going for, to reach that 100-meter mark that they've requested.
We're really close. Yeah.
We're really close. And then we're going to drop a marker and we're going to turn around and head towards the point that you started measuring from, essentially.
Okay. I'm going to call on a movement 10 meters north. 000.
I think they want to go that.
Oh, we want to go back.
No, we want to go to where Alex has dropped his...
Right here.
Where his cursor is.
Oh, sorry.
Yep.
Can you call on a movement?
Go ahead.
Okay. Bridge nav. You get 10 meters at bearing 000.
And then while we're doing that, Sean just came up into the van and was hoping to have the IGTs fired up or turned on so that he can just check connectivity.
Roger. They should actually, there is power to them right now.
Okay.
So for those of you watching an IGT, that's a device we're going to hopefully be deploying later in the dive. That's an isobaric gas trap. That's essentially what we're going to use to sample some of the fluid coming from these vents and bring that water back to the surface under pressure so that we can then capture all of the gases that are dissolved in that water without them coming out of solution. One of the great things about being on board the Nautilus is you get taught all kinds of science all the time, and so as we were on our way to the Gorda Ridge site, we had the great opportunity to do some science tours with all of the people who are deploying equipment on these dives, and so hopefully we'll be able to tell you some of those stories as we actually use them.
So close.
So once we mark that next 10-meter move, then we're going to go back towards the chimneys.
Got it.
That's right. Yep.
Okay. Sorry about my misconception.
No, that's
earlier.
okay. And wherever we're able to cross that arc that is drawn is fine.
Okay.
For 10, like that, because that's just marking 100 meters from the center of the vent
Okay.
field. And then we'll drop the marker.
Oh, and then we're turning around and going back to where we came?
Right.
Yes, so this is when we'll have the good visual contact with the seafloor.
Right. Okay.
And we're going to go through the center of the chimney site, essentially.
Sure. It'll take us a little bit to do the pendulum.
Yeah, of course. But this is definitely background sediment we're looking at right here. It's not much going on.
Yep.
So I think
so we already went past the 100 meters.
Nav, if you want to mark the, yeah, we can mark the location.
Maybe we'll toss it back to Nicole.
Sure.
Nicole, while coordinating Nav, we are at our 100 meter.
Yes, so Nav, could you please drop VM3 as a marker?
So when we turn around, I'd like to come to port.
Okay. Get out your 6-8 wrap.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to do is, get the vehicles in a good setup to come back through the center of the chimney sites. So that's somewhere between chimney 2 and VM1 where we saw them. And then when we reach that chimney 2 site, we're going to continue 100 meters more east, essentially, to mark and it's going to be a sort of east-southeast.
Okay. Sure.
So we just had a neat question on what it's actually going to be like to use those IGTs, those isobaric gas traps, when we sample vent fluid. And so what we're actually going to do is the manipulator arm on Hercules is just going to pick it up by the handle. We have an electronic control system to operate all the moving parts in the sampling mechanism. Hercules is then going to hold the sampler into the vent fluid, and it takes about 2 minutes or so to fill up one of these canisters. And then we're just going to pretty much put it back in that tray where you see on the front of Hercules and take it back to the surface with us. There's no need for self-servicing or dropping caches of these guys.
120.
We bring them down and we take them back with us.
Nicole, would you like us to start going on the...
Yes, please.
Going back to chimney 2? Okay. So 120.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Bridge nav. I get 20 meters at bearing 120.
Okay. So should we start coming about to 120?
Go for it.
Roger. And you said you want to go to port?
I want to go to port, yeah.
Bed forms.
So Nicole, what's on the menu for us when we get back to the main chimney sites?
Sure, so we're going to mark the final boundary. So we're going to go past the chimneys about 100 meters upslope. So we'll go past that diffuse flow marker again. And once we're 100 meters past that center point, we'll mark it, and then we'll come back to the center and probably be ready to deploy the
I think I want to actually go to starboard, sorry. No, never mind.
Once we verify that the temperature is in the right temperature range for those.
We can see what happens when I start.
That's great, thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Bridge nav. Yeah, one more step, please.
And Nicole, you want like some good visual contact with